Mr Conor.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. And can I begin by congratulating my honourable friend, the member for Poole, on securing this debate to highlight this very important issue. My honourable friend has been very active on this subject. When I raised this with the previous Secretary of State for Energy and Climate Change, the gentleman who's no longer a member of this House, he and I went to see him to put our concerns about the process of this development on the record. If I may just begin by picking up a couple of points that colleagues have made. I say to the honourable lady, the member for Mid Dorset and North Poole, the critical difference between her constituents and the constituents of other members present here today are that her constituents won't actually have to look at this wind farm. All of ours will. So the impact, by definition, will be greater on the constituencies represented by other honourable members here. My honourable friend and neighbour, the member for Bournemouth East, intervened twice on the point about the distance and the definition the government lays down as to the distance from shore. And on that point, I would like to ask the Minister to give us some clarity, because this is a point that I put to the company in the before the closure of Phase 4 of their consultation. And I raised the issue that my honourable friend, the member for Bournemouth East, raised about the 12-mile nautical limit. And in the reply that I had to my letter of objection from Mike Unsworth, the project director at Navitus Bay, he said, regarding the wind farm's distance from the shore, I would emphasise that the government has not issued guidance that stipulates a 12-mile nautical limit. Indeed, on the 10th of October 2013, the Climate Change Minister, Greg Barker, was clear that DEC has, quote, has not issued guidance on the distance that offshore wind farms should be placed from the coast. That was quoting from Hansard on the 10th of October 2013, column 342. I would like to ask the Minister to give us some clarity on what is actually the government's position on this. Of course, I give way to my friend.
Most grateful, Honourable Friend, making an excellent speech. The EU guidance, as I understand, is 23 kilometres, which is not 12 nautical miles. And the Crown Estates had identified 8 other sites that the member of Poole was talking about, totalling some 22,000 square kilometres. There's no World Heritage Site, there's no coastline in sight. Why can't they go there?
My honourable friend makes a very valid point, and even if they have to go within the development area that they've been given on this particular site, they don't have to go within the area of the development site that they've chosen. They could go significantly further out to shore. And I have to say that all honourable members at the very beginning of this process were very open in engaging with the company. We have no, in principle, objection to wind farms, wind energy at all. That's the policy of the government. There is no point in us, whatever our views, in arguing on that. We are arguing on the impact that this will have on our local economy and, as my honourable friend says, on a World Heritage Site. Madam Chairman, Bournemouth attracts over 6 million visitors annually. The tourism economy is worth in excess of £425 million to the town's economy. We employ, it supports in the region of 16,000 local jobs. In Navitus Bay's own research, they have suggested that a third of summer visitors questioned would not return to Bournemouth during the period of construction. The period of construction is estimated to last 5 years. That would be a devastating blow to our local economy, and I would have to question how many of the town's businesses who rely on tourism would in fact even be in business at the end of that 5-year period if those figures... Of course, I give way to my honourable friend.
I'm grateful to my honourable friend who's been a passionate advocate in looking at the detail of this proposal. Would he agree with me that one of the concerns that we have in the bay is the shape of the bay? On the left, in the east, we have the Isle of Wight, and on the right, Southern Bay. This offers a frame, if you like, from which visitors actually look out to the sea. Very different from Blackpool, very different from other areas where it's just an open expanse of water. Therefore, these are reference marks that people can then measure the height and indeed the intrusion that you have of this wind farms, which is why we've been pressing, for the, as my honourable friend has said, to push the wind farm back as far as possible.
My honourable friend makes a powerful point and makes it well. The bay and the beach are the hook on which the local tourism economy hangs, and anything that impacts detrimentally on that visually would be very serious. My honourable friend will know the figures because the Navitus Bay's own research goes on to say that 14% of visitors they survey, these are the company's own figures, said they would never return to the conurbation if this had a visual impact. Now, there are other things that we still, of course, don't know, because the stuff that the company is still sitting on and haven't released. There's a number of reports vital to our assessment on the impact of the scheme are ongoing or have not been released. They include the Noise Management Assessment Report that my honourable friend the member for Poole referred to, the Nighttime Visual Impact Report, the Climate and Microclimate Assessment, and the outstanding issues within the Landscape, Seascape and Visual Impact Assessment. And the Minister will be aware that even at this stage, the company will not tell us how many turbines, what height they will be, or what configuration they will be in. So how, when we don't even at this point know the final type of turbine that they have in mind, are we supposed to believe that the company have produced accurate visuals that the public can make a reasonable comment on? The fact is that they have not. And this really is, I think, at the centre of our argument about the flawed nature of the consultation process that Navitus have entered into. Last year they told us, in terms of great rejoicing, that we should all celebrate the fact that the number of turbines had fallen and their height had been reduced. I questioned how we were supposed to celebrate that as good news when they'd never previously told us how many they would be, what height they would be, or where they would be. It is absolutely vital that we know and understand exactly what this thing looks like. The letter from Mike Unsworth says in it that it is vital that the views of the public are taken into account. Madam Chairman, the public overwhelmingly want their views on the views they enjoy taken into account. And crucially, that cannot happen without accurate visuals. I end with this. There was a story about this recently in October in the Bournemouth Echo. And one of the comments on the thing, is often wise not to read the comments on the Bournemouth Echo, but I did on this occasion. One of them said that those who were opposed to this were NIMBYs. And somebody commented below, yes, simple answer, my backyard is a World Heritage Site.
Thank you.